Locke. She's a partner at Claire Locke LLP and is a extraordinaire when it comes to First Amendment defamation. So, Libby.
Okay.
Thank you, Governor, for having.
Okay, Kurt, first of all, who's Claire Locke LLC and that law firm and Libby Locke?
Well, that's the law firm that Dominion has retained to go file all of these lawsuits against Rudy Giuliani, Fox News, yourself, One America News,
My Pillow,
Hello, Newsmax.
Yeah, he said
And
yourself.
Actually, Dominion has
Well,
bragged on their website about Claire Locke sending out over 150 cease and desist letters, and I suspect it may be even far larger than that, against just normal everyday people, threatening them with litigation, telling them to retain all their documents, to cease and desist from saying anything about Dominion, defaming Dominion.
What's Ron DeSantis saying about it?
And
that's what we want to know.
Dominion, and all of these recipients did.
The governor of the Sunshine State.
Declarations in support of a
one state of 50.
As they were poll watchers, and what they saw that didn't have anything to do with Dominion, yet Dominion went out and...
Right. Oh, did we lose Kurt, Brandon?
He froze up. We're gonna have to call him back real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna go on. We get Kurt back on here right away. Everybody, when I'm gonna bring him back, and he's gonna tell you, he just told you they're the law firm for Dominion. And when Kurt comes
Amazing
back,
they just cut that off when he mentioned that, huh, boys and girls?
Be sitting this morning with this law firm, Dominion.
Oh, by the way, the 35 other genders.
She's an extraordinaire at First Amendment and defamation law. Well, you know what? We're going to show when we get Jeff O'Donnell on here what really happened in Miami-Dade County. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, Ron DeSantis, it's over for anything of him thinking running for anything. The people in this country, we know we have to, what Dominion's done and these other companies to our citizens, to our election process and everything. And Ron's sitting there in cahoots with Dominion. I mean, this is shameful. Is Kurt back on yet?
No, we're getting him. But this would might be a good time, if you don't mind me, break in and do a quick little plug and then come back to the show.
Yeah, why don't you do that? And we'll come right back, everybody. Get everybody you can on.
All right. Folks, remember, the MyPillow 2.0 has just come out. This has new technology since Mike invented the first MyPillow, cooling temperature. Buy one, get one free sale right now, but you got to use that promo code. There it is. You got to use that promo code L77.
Yeah, the new technology, everybody.
I don't have a new one. I've got an old one, but I've had it for about 3 years, and it's a nice pillow.
Your distance from your head to bed to keep your
VictoriaCambridge.com, and Ozzy would concur.
Technology, the cooling part, back when I invented my pillow. I found out about a thread made right here in the United States about a year ago that had been developed for this technology, this temperature regulating technology, and I said, I got to make a fabric for my pillow. I've been sleeping on it now for a couple months, and it's brought the best sleep in history to the best sleep in history, Brandon. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I never thought you could ever improve on my pillow, but there it is, another feature added that, and we're doing the buy one, get one free. It is the biggest launch. You guys see the commercial behind the scenes here. You're actually getting this commercial, should be out in about 9 days. But my employees thank all of you out there. They're really proud of this pillow. They're all sleeping on it. We sent it out to... Brandon, did you get one yet?
I got 4 of them.
Okay,
No. Brandon's in the corner of the market on MPs.
You know, you can just see people going, you got a My Pillow. You got a My Pillow.
Well, get it, folks. MyPillow.com. And use that promo code
You got a cherry.
L77.
You got a cherry. You got a
Buy
cherry.
one, get one free. MyPillow 2.0. Of course, also there are sheets, towels, blankets, pet beds, slippers, sandals, mattresses, and mattress toppers and robes.
Yeah, and we do have the Giza Dream Sheets for a buy. We brought them back on buy one, get one free. The best sheets in history. They're awesome.
Excellent. All right, we got Kurt back. Kurt, welcome back.
Kurt's back.
Hey, Kurt, but you left right before the big question. Why would Ron DeSantis...
How many My Pillows are you going to buy? Oh, it's my important.
In a roundtable event that he put together and bragging about Libby Locke being the extraordinaire at the First Amendment and defamation law. Is that not a slap in the face of every single person in the United States of what's been going on in our country? How do you explain that? Why would he do that?
I have no idea, because when you look at these lawsuits that have been brought by Dominion, to me they look like lawfare and censorship, and it's just part and parcel with what we've seen coming out of the DHS, Twitter, Facebook, how they all got
Yeah,
together.
why is Ron DeSantis
And so when you look
concerned
at the campaign that Dominion has lost,
and spending
they're
time
just baseless allegations of defamation. And I'll use that word brought back
with this?
Right. So do you think, I've said it straight out, I don't care if he says, well, I didn't know. He made the statement, let's say that somebody brought them at this round table, but he actually made the statement that she's an
He certainly didn't mind
Amendment
lapping at the
defamation
door
law. So obviously
of
that
Donald
tells
John
everybody
Trump
Ron
to get in where he
DeSantis
got in.
knew that he was sitting at the table with the law firm for Dominion that's been destroying our country. Here's what I say, Kurt. You don't have to agree or not, but I'll tell you what.
Before
this
he
ship
ran
has
for
sailed
governor.
Any potential run for president, because you know what? I'll spend the rest of my time making sure all the people know that he's in cahoots with Dominion. You're sitting there with Dominion. There's no reason why you would have to sit there and do the media being fair, or whatever that the round table was, and you have Dominion voting systems there. You know what that does to me? It said he's trying to tell, you know what, Dominion's okay. Look, I won Florida. I won Miami-Dade County. Well, we're about to show why he won Miami-Dade County. Here we have Jeff O'Donnell. We got the Caspo records. We showed this. I want to ask one more thing, Kurt. Did you see this video where we show going through Edison Research and then going out to, back then in 2020, it was to the New York Times, and they show the data, how it drops and all this computer manipulation. Yeah. And then we showed 2022, how this happened with all these candidates. And we learned that, and they said in that video that Edison Research, that it takes it from there, it goes out to China. So you being the greatest attorney here, I want to ask you,
I know you feel comfortable. Your vote is being deciding. China.
Absolutely, it's like people need to have their memories refreshed. This was China and others hacking into our election, and why wouldn't everybody be worried about this?
I think people are worried about it, but the concerns every time somebody tries to say something about it, then the mainstream media and others start suing, censoring, trying to suppress that speech. And that's really the rub of this, is what do they have to hide?
What do they have to hide?
You've often said, if there was somebody said something was wrong with your pillows, you'd say, open them up, here it is.
Yeah,
so why won't Dominion?
There's rocks and glass in there, right, Mike?
Companies open up their machines. Why won't they give their source code out? Why is it always a fight to get the different log files from inside them to see what goes on? So the real question is, what do they have to hide?
Right. And do you think, and why would a governor of Florida who thinks that either nothing happened with the machines in his state, or why you pick all the lawyers and all the land, you pick Dominion's lawyers to sit with you in front of the whole nation. Shame on you, Ron DeSantis. You just will endorse Donald Trump tomorrow morning and try and apologize to this country for doing something so stupid. I mean, absolutely. Either you're in on it with Dominion, or whoever put them in front of you better have an explanation of why you would brag that the Dominion lawyers are great at defamation and First Amendment lawsuits. I mean, this is crazy. That's basically shoving it in my face, and I don't take that lightly. Telling my MyPillow employees, you know what? This lady's really good and she knows her stuff. Yes, we should sue Mike Lindell, MyPillow, and 200 patriots that send them threatening letters. It's disgusting, and I will spend every day. We're going to have a Ron DeSantis Dominion report, I think, here on Lindell TV. It's just shameful. And I want to say, you brought up something. I want to stick it to another lawyer here that I'm a little upset with. And in you said, lawyers
Mike,
are
tell us how you
afraid,
really feel, buddy.
okay, like the cancel thing, and you bring it in there,
Oh,
and lawyers
good.
are going, oh, you can
Hey,
get
get
sanctioned,
ready,
you can do
guys.
this.
We've got
Well,
the soda to look
everybody
forward
should
to.
know
The
that
most
Harmeet,
scintillating
the
speaker
RNC,
since
she told me the
Abraham
day before
Lincoln,
we voted,
George
she came
Wallace,
right up
of
and said,
Garfield,
hey,
and
Mike, no, you don't get to have
Jack
anything to do
Kennedy.
with the RNC. And I said, well, the RNC went down to
Mm.
Arizona, and I thought it was Ronna and the RNC that moved over and said no. And she goes, no, Mike, that was me. Harmeet's the lawyer, and she told me straight out, well, you know what? There's not much chance of winning, and you could get sanctioned. Kurt, what do you say to somebody like that, or to lawyers like that? Should they be courageous, or just hunker down, or where are we at on that with our country?
Well, I think lawyers have a duty to represent their clients and to search for the truth and to put the evidence out. Whether or not a judge is going to rule against you when the evidence is clear, and I believe the evidence was clear, for example, in Kerry Lake's case. There was indisputable evidence that there were manipulated ballots at all 6 of the vote centers that we
Arizona's
inspected.
pretty
There were
dirty.
manipulated ballots. Clear. Indisputable evidence that chain of custody rules weren't well. So for any lawyer to say they won't take a case because they're afraid they might get sanctioned because it's an election case. And these, sanctions that have been thrown out recently, it's only in election cases.
Right.
And that should tell you something. It's not in any other case. The evidence in these cases is indisputable in many circumstances, including in Kerry Lake's case. And so what you see is an effort to intimidate that's being successful. And we can hearken back to the days of yore when John Adams, if you recall the Boston Massacre.
In days of old, when north of old, the toilets weren't invented, they laid their load upon the road and went away contented.
But that's what lawyers are for. And so the true test of a person is what they'll do under adverse
That
circumstances.
PSA brought to you
And so
by
if they're gonna
Scotty
pull up their
Osborne
tent and run, then
third grade.
those lawyers aren't worth the hill of beans.
And I want to tell everybody that's watching, for the grassroots and everybody that was upset that I lost, and that they wanted they were saying anybody but Ronna. I'm telling you right now, Harmeet, if she would have won, she doesn't have the country's back. She's a coward, or either that, but she sure grabbed a bunch of money when she got down there, looking at the case and charging. I'm so disgusted with that. It's like, and then she advises. She's the advisor for the RNC. Oh no, let's move on here. Well, you know what? You can't have lawyers. That's the one thing I will tell you.
At some point, you've got to figure out, if you're America, does RNC and the DNC or the DNC
90% of their Gmails going
even
into
represent
spam when they
America,
their fundraising.
the Republic,
And Ronna McDaniel
if we can still keep it
with the lawyers there,
anymore?
said, hey, we got to get these back. We got to go after Google.
Or is it time for
we don't want to do that. We could, it's Google.
a party that represents America? Good, the bad, and yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the ugly. And we have plenty of it in this country, and we have plenty of it in the past. And you know what? They're in that damn country, including Andorra, as far as I know, the smallest country in the world between Spain and France, that doesn't have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Here, it's become a weapon 10 times more powerful than the H-bomb. The H-bomb gets me mad because we used one mic in Korea. China wouldn't have budged.
Of a computer voting machine. When one press of a button cannot just steal the election, but
remember, our warmongering United States has won one war in the last 100 years. One war.
Judges have to quit kicking the can on standing, because if they kick it on
World War II.
you end up with judges that I will say are bad judges and know everybody.
Thanks to Little Man and Fat Boy.
People are good people. They're in fear. I think fear was a big thing, Kurt. Do you see a change that the fear factor is being lifted as people? It's starting to affect even the ones that are afraid, going, hey, I got to do something. I got to do what I was put here, my job, right? And we're not saying judges rule this way or that way. look at the
A
evidence.
fat man and a little boy, I think it was.
A ruling based on the Constitution, right?
Obviously. Millions of patriots on all the sides, yes. Blood spilt all over. But remember, we get pulled into that war, kicking and screaming, after December 7th, 1941. However, that's not when the war started. The war really started in 36, 37, and full bore out in 39.
After December 2020, all we heard was the most secure election in history.
Hence, we're not exactly the biggest warmonger we're made out to be, nor have we ever been.
Right. That's right.
They're losing the narrative.
Have we done some mean, terrible things? Sure. Are you human?
I think to understand.
Yeah. Have you done some mean, terrible things? I know I have.
Look at where we are as a country and the trillions of dollars that have been put into play and are at stake because of this current administration.
Here you go.
Wars in Ukraine, tens of billions of dollars, cutting off the Keystone Pipeline, opening up no more tariffs on Chinese goods. So when you look at elections, what has happened? Policies have changed, policies that affect trillions of dollars because an election was stolen. That shows you the motivation and what's at stake with elections. And so when you see what's happening now, this is a direct consequence. A balloon from China, a spy balloon flying over our country, is a direct consequence of a stolen 2020 election. As tens of dollars going to Ukraine, and then the administration denying money to go to workers here in this country, or to close up the border. Any number.
Yeah, it's a manifestation of this, and so now everybody, I'm gonna sure Kurt, you can stay on. We're gonna bring in Jeff O'Donnell, everybody. So if you follow this, we're talking about these voting machines, and remember, DeSantis sat today with Dominion, with their law firm, with the lady from their law firm, and I said about a month ago, everybody, we got the cast vote records finally from Miami-Dade County. Now, this is a deviation, Kurt. Miami-Dade County, it's a deviation that a Republican won that in it by 11%. Well, now remember, DeSantis is sitting with Dominion Law Firm today, and here's what we found out in Miami-Dade County. Let's welcome Jeff O'Donnell.
He's protecting his flank.
Jeff, are you there?
That's what DeSantis is doing.
So Jeff, we gave
This
you a
is
little
big,
extra
guys.
time.
This is breaking. Nothing
Jeff, tell us,
nothing recorded except what you've got here, and this came out live.
Out of Edison Research, like we've seen on the films there, is that very similar to a cast vote record, the order that the votes come in?
It isn't, because they are groups of votes. They'll report.
Okay.
They'll report a certain vote. Am I coming through well?
Yeah, you're coming through good.
Okay.
Well.
Report, they report as they have a batch or a large number. Because it's not uncommon for the first report to be, 10,000, 100,000 votes, and then they come in chunks after that.
So with a cast vote record though.
MegaRaccoon.com. It's got a great website. Check that out.
Well, 100%, if there was
Also visit Southside Virginia, some of the two very famous railroad towns. VictoriaCambridge.com. And links to about 20 other counties, towns, and cities as well. You can even take a vacation in downtown West Palm Beach. You go back 20 years in time. You may even see our friend there and what he was saying about one Barack Obama back in that day. What the hell could go wrong?
Miami-Dade County, is that correct?
Well, yes. And I'll just put a asterisk on that. There are some very tiny counties that don't have enough votes to even do any kind of statistical analysis on.
Right.
So you kind of have to set that aside because there was no time, not enough votes for anything to go through. But I have to say that Miami-Dade and other counties in Florida have looked remarkably clean.
Okay, all right. Can you show that? Can you show us what a cash flow record looks like, whether it's computer manipulation, and then show us Miami-Dade County?
Well, yes. If you can put up page 1 of what I sent, this is kind of the where it all started. When you look at the ratio of Trump votes to Biden as you go through in 2020. What we notice is that many counties have this same impossible thing. The red is where it should be if you numbers and statistics. The green is where it is, and what they do is what that says is there was an unnatural bias toward Biden early in the first half or so, and then it was allowed to rise back up to where it got to. This is a pattern, I call it the Mesa pattern, because we've seen it in hundreds
so this graph, right, but this graph, when you're seeing the blue line there, the blue line, I mean, this would show, this is what it shows is an algorithm, or that because it's an unnatural, it should fall between those red lines. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Can you explain Miami-Dade County then what something would look like that wouldn't have? And I want to tell everybody too, what Jeff told me earlier, this would not count. This is computer manipulation. There could still be some little flips in there where you have like the 2,000 meals where people are putting in, we just watched a video, sacks of ballots or running the same things through where you're making a physical.
Now, flipping over here, you just get an idea. If you look at that show on America on the Brink. So no matter who the broadcaster is in the cable or everyone's basically in the same line of thinking. We have been in a lot better shape than we are right now.
Jeff, I think, can speak to this. When you look at that blue curve, what that shows is predictability.
And things are not showing an upward turn.
It's rising in a uniform slope.
Right.
And that means that you can predict what the next ratio is going to be in the next batch 1,000 times or more.
Yeah, and that's impossible, everybody. Right.
As it rises.
It's physically possible. Right.
Yeah.
Show us Miami. Can you show us Miami-Dade County?
Yeah, show Miami-Dade.
I want to really talk about.
Yeah, look at that. Look at those straight lines. Does that make sense?
Go to the next page, if you will, of what I sent. And this is the mail-ins, the randomized, the normal mail-ins from the Miami-Dade in the DeSantis gubernatorial race, Chris. And this is an example of what a quote-unquote fair election looks like. There's no big deviations. There's one toward the end toward DeSantis, but it's only a couple percent.
Okay, how about the beginning there? How about the beginning there? Why does it go down like that in the beginning? Is that just a normal where you have the first influx of votes, or what?
Yes. When you're talking 1,000 votes or less, it wildly fluctuates. That's normal.
Right.
We see that all the time.
But once you move over, now these are votes between the two candidates, right? So you're not seeing any computer manipulation. It's staying between those. Well, this vote comes in. It's a ratio that stays within. This would be what a normal no computer election crime would look like, correct?
Yes, and this is again the mail-in votes, given the random nature of their receipt, enable us to do this sort of analysis.
Yeah, you got that flickering that's coming from the computer screen, but
it is
not a lot really there anyway. I'm going to wrap this up in about 3 minutes, but
right. So
since it's live,
now I want to say to this,
and I'll be showing it, and you'll see it when it was live over and over. It should ring.
Bring everybody back on screen. So, Jeff, in all your experience, you've looked at hundreds and hundreds of counties in the United States. Of all the big ones you've seen, they all have the computer manipulation, because when you remember, I've said it before, everybody, once you steal from a certain area, you got to steal from everywhere, otherwise it sticks out like a sore thumb, which is exactly what happened with DeSantis' race in Miami. In Miami-Dade County, having no They basically said, we're not going to even bother and steal from here because I believe, this is why I believe this. I believe they're going, well, look, the people, it'll look really good. We'll have DeSantis say, if you do real good, and you
real
can
well.
still have machines, it makes the machines even look good.
Mike's grammar's
You
horrendous.
can turn blue counties red.
But
And
love
it
it.
also made all the ones we stole, all the candidates from Kerry Lake that we watched on the night of the election through the Edison research, Kerry Lake, Mark Fincham, Jim Marchand, Matt DePerno, Christina Caramo, Tudor Dixon, the list goes on and on. What did they have? One thing in common, everybody. They were going to take care of our elections and help us get our elections back after they won. So if I'm the bad guys, I'm going, hey, let's just take all them and we don't even have to do anything down here. Let's let DeSantis, the real election happen, which he won by 11%. Let me tell you, everybody, what that tells you about our country. By no election crime being committed in Florida, or at least in Miami-Dade County, I believe it's all over Florida, like Jeff said. So if that happened, which it did, the whole country is as red as ever. More red than Ronald Reagan, more red than and it's actually proof that Donald Trump won 83 million to 64 million back in 2020. I mean, this is just the 2022 election, you guys. But here's Ron DeSantis down there. Then I put it to this: if that's not the case, let's say the bad guys did that, then I put it to you all.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's trying to get meetings with Smartmatic.
Sitting in a round
Who
table
knows?
this morning with the law firm of Dominion Voting Systems. Jeff, you got a theory
Dominion,
on that? You want to get in trouble
Smartmatic.
with
It's
Dominion
all the
Voting?
same, basically.
Let me tell you, this has been a very difficult period for me because I'm a Florida resident. And I very much wanted, I didn't want this to happen. You know, I wanted to believe the side that was saying that DeSantis was indeed America first. And I have to say, I was trying to hold my equanimity on it until today. And when he had to know the optics and the message that he was sending by that particular person. Somebody as smart as DeSantis does not accidentally invite the Dominion, one of the Dominion laws.
No, he's a pretty calculated guy.
But I do have a surprise for you, Mike.
But
when you put that next page up, I can not only show you something about DeSantis, but I can show you something about Trump in 2020.
This should be interesting.
These are DeSantis outperformed Trump in 797 out of 827 precincts that were common to both elections. All the vote up there, those are precincts that DeSantis did better in percentage than Trump had done in 2020. And throughout all of those common precincts, meaning precincts that were in both elections, the average increase for DeSantis was 7.9% over Trump's performance in 2020.
Wow. And see,
to me,
if you're going to put in a guy to run for president against the best president ever, you certainly can make it look good with machines, can't you? You can do anything you want. And I like what you said, Jeff. I like what you said. He had to know what the optics show. He had to know who is that slapping in the face. Kurt, Brandon, Jeff, Mike, every person.
Logan.
Do you know in Florida,
Bueller.
90,000, the Defend Florida, that they went and canvassed 90,000 names, months of work down there to show exactly what we show, that 900 and some thousand votes were taken from Donald Trump, and the voter rolls are so dirty in Florida and all this. And what does Ron DeSantis do? He says, whack, there's all your work. I'm with Dominion, they're with law firm. Kurt, do you think it's a slap in the face of anyone that ever has done anything for our country against these machine companies they're trying to get to the bottom of? Or do you think it's just he just happened to grab the wrong law firm there that, you know.
I believe it speaks for itself. Clearlock is not a large firm. They're well known because of their representation of Dominion, but it's certainly not a law firm that is widely known throughout the country in legal circles. So the fact that they were offered an opportunity to appear with them certainly appears a deliberate choice. I just would like to remind everyone, if you recall, in terms of the rigged elections, how long it took for the media, particularly Fox News, to call Florida for Trump, even though he was up by, I think, 3-4%. For the longest time, they wouldn't call it. Yet Fox News called Arizona before all the votes were counted.
Yep, they did. I remember that, aren't it?
Just goes to show you that there's a lot more going on here with elections than meets the eye sometimes.
They did that while they were
You're
still
exactly
open.
right.
They
And the
tamped down the
reason
vote,
in
and
Florida-
we know the rest of the
Yeah,
story,
remember
right?
before, the reason in Florida that they waited and waited, they ran out of names from poll to poll from the rolls, just like in Texas, because they ran out. They didn't have all the big early voting because of Ken Paxton fighting all those cases in Texas that we didn't have all the corruption of early voting and all this other garbage put in. Well, but still, those two states were number 2 and number 3 of the most votes sold. 1 million in Texas, 960,000 in Florida. So think where we're at, though. The good news is, everybody, if we melt down these machines, turn them into prison bars, put all your Brad Rassenbergers of the world behind bars, and we're going to have a
Pretty to know where you've been.
country. God bless you. Huh?
Happy Honolulu, right, Mike?
Right on. All right, you guys, thanks.
They're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. Get ready for the Soto coming your way. Bots will be hanging out making some comments.
Get on this, write it down. What your headline should be.
This
Why
should be.
was Ron DeSantis sitting in a round table with Dominion?
Talk about George Washington and the cherry tree and not lying.
Shame on you,
This
Ron
is going to
DeSantis.
be a.
Endorse Donald Trump. He needs to endorse Donald Trump tomorrow morning.
This is going to be a showcase of lies. It'll be one lying. Lines of lies of liars after another.
7:30 Central Time live, 8 p.m. We begin live coverage of the State of the Union address by Joe Biden, along with commentary. Yes, I'll be making commentary along with Leo Homan and others. You don't want to miss our special coverage tonight. It all begins live at 7:30 Central Time. And now the Worldview Report. Thanks for watching the Lindell Report. Take care.
We're off.
You're watching.